What's up, guys? Welcome to this live video. I'm gonna wait for some folks to jump on here. Today we're gonna be talking about the evolution of diversifying your portfolio, your income. I learned a lot of rules in the game when it comes to what it looks like to be very diverse from an income standpoint. I try to teach my mom this, and anyone that I come in contact with, I'm always trying to feed them information on how they can start to think a little bit differently and think on the level of where, if I did A, B, C, or D, where would I be at 5, 10, 15 years from now? Now, here's a disclaimer, you guys. This is not going to be for everyone. I am not a financial planner. I am just giving you the tools and resources that I've done and that I continue to do in order to have a high level of income based upon being diverse with my income ability. So this is live, so wait for some more folks to come on. Drink a little coffee, guys. For those of you who may or may not know who I am, I'm Tiana Burse. I'm the CEO of District Media Press. I'm also the proud owner of a very successful e-com store, not one but two, with my partner and myself. I'm a speaker. I speak at universities every single year, and I'm an official partner with Facebook. I'm one of their Facebook creators. So I have a portfolio and a knowledge that I feel like is going to pour into you guys and teach you guys some information that this isn't taught in schools. There's a reason why I'm literally hired. I'm literally brought on by universities to come in and literally teach workshops like this to educate students, because this is not taught. I wish this was taught in schools, but it's not. And so there's a reason why they hire a college dropout to come in and teach business and entrepreneurship every single year, multiple times a year at several different schools. And so that's not to impress you. I'm not here to impress you. It's to impress upon you that you can be at square one, rock bottom right now, and you can rise to the ranks of what I consider to be the American dream, which is having discretionary time. And discretionary time is this. All discretionary time is the fact that you have money and you have the ability to work around your schedule. And that's something that I've had for the last 15 years, and I love it. Doesn't mean I don't work hard, doesn't mean I don't hustle. All it simply means is that I've been working smarter, not harder. And so now we got some folks on. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna start with what I just said, which was when you are playing the money game, you obviously wanna work smarter, okay? Not harder. Somebody asked me, you wanna work smarter, not harder. Someone asked me in the comments section what it is that I actually do for a living. And I told them that I'm a consultant. And some people kind of heckled at it, and some people, kind of was like, and I gave them my website, and come on in, Ian. Come on in, Ian. Hey. And so, but one person commented and said, you're working smarter, not harder. And I think that's the foundation of what it is that I've done, is to work smarter and to hopefully inspire and educate people around me too to work smarter, right? We can pick our own schedules. When we have to work, we get work done. But when we want to have leisure and time freedom, we can have that as well. And so one of the things that people who have money, and this has just come from my mentor, and if you're watching this and you're against making more money, don't comment. I don't want your negative comments. If you don't want to be wealthy and if you don't want to have more money, then don't leave a comment. Just leave the page. So let's talk about working smarter, not harder. There's multiple ways that you make money. And if you have never read the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, I read that about, 15 years ago. It's so crazy. It's 15 years ago. So I read that book about 15 years ago, and he went over a couple different of the quadrants, right? So then he went over, and this is basic, right? You have the employment, you have the self-employed, and you have the business owner, and then you have the investor. So this is, probably the quadrant is probably off, right? But I'm just going to give you guys the foundation of it. So you have the employment. Employment is super simple. The employment is saying, hey, I work a normal job. I'm W-2, so this is W-2. Now, on the flip side of that, you have the self-employment, where you're more of an independent contractor, right? You're working for yourself, and typically you are working for yourself, but no one else is typically working for you. So then you have the business owner, and typically the business owner is the one who actually employs the W-2s, and or in some cases, they only work with independent contractors. We work with independent contractors ourselves. And then you have the investor. So I'm going to focus now on how to go from here to here, which is the Warren Buffett principle. You want to make money. You want to spend less than what you make. So you want to make money here. You want to have low expenses, high income. This is the most difficult for every person because when we make money, our basic human behavior is to want to go and spend it right away. There's a lot of restraint that has to happen when you are looking to go into the investment quadrant. Now, you don't have to go from this quadrant all the way to this quadrant and invest $200,000, $300,000. I'm saying be smart. If you spend $6 and 26 cents a day and you put that in a compound interest account, in the right one, obviously, in the next 20 years, that'll be worth $1 million. Now, many of us, you may say, well, I don't spend $6 and 26 cents a week. I bet you do, because you may spend $100 on the weekend going out to eat. If you're like me, maybe sometimes $100 a day, horrible. And if you average that out per week, you're spending more than $6.26 a week. Or day. So you want to break it down into realistic things, which is you can go from here to here. Now, eventually, this can really turn into this. So you want to play the money game. This is the basic fundamentals, right? The basic fundamentals of what I've learned when it comes to wealth building. You have other investments. You have, some people invest in cryptocurrency. Some people invest in businesses. I remember someone that is a mentor of mine had the opportunity to invest $25,000 into Uber, and he passed on it. And today that would have been worth $300 million. So, and that, again, that's a hit or miss, right? Because some startups don't actually succeed because they're not built to make money. They're built to raise money, and they try to figure out how to make money while they're raising money, and it just doesn't end up the way that they want it to. So this is the basic fundamentals of starting to be smarter versus work harder. And this is a process. The one thing that you have to understand is that you're always going to want to play the 10-year game. You want to think in terms of a decade, not a day, not a month, not a year, but a whole decade. A decade's going to go by whether you do this or not. Whether you do this or not, a decade's going to go by if you're lucky. So why not position yourself to be in a better situation a decade from today? See, it's small, simple decisions compounded over time, which can make or break your future. And so when you're making these small decisions, make them knowing that, hey, I might have to sacrifice a little bit. I might have to not spend $100 in a weekend for extra, things that I want to do. But I know that in a decade, it's going to pay off, and it can pay off sooner. Let's say you double this. Well, then guess what? Now you have $1 million in, 10 years versus 20. So it's really about breaking down what you want and then doing the things that are required every single day to get you to where you want to go. Now, that's one way to generate additional revenue. Another way to generate additional revenue, in my professional opinion, and I'll give you what I've done, is to have if you have a certain amount of knowledge, connections, or a gift, for example, that your knowledge can actually generate you percentage ownership in other people's companies, okay? This right here is really important. Currently, right now, I own 40% of one e-com store. I own 50% of another e-com store, okay? I own 50% of someone else's e-com store. And if you don't know what e-com is, it's e-commerce, stands for e-commerce. It's Amazon, eBay. You have your own store. I had just locked in a deal yesterday where I'm going to own 30% of a company that I know over the next decade to be worth $1 billion. We've already into $1 billion industry. So in a decade or a couple years, it'll be worth millions. So I just closed 30% ownership in someone else's company. So with what I have going on, I just locked in a deal with someone who is as close as to Beyonce and Jay-Z that you can possibly get. And the industry that she's in is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And I lock and loaded yesterday 30% ownership in her company. And the reason why it happened is because I'm the business consultant to oversee the entire fruition of the entire project. And it's a connect of mine as far as our client goes. And so I kind of merged the two together. And so one of the greatest things that I think I've been able to do is be a connector, which is also a consultant. And a consultant is anyone that's giving advice or performing a service in a professional and or semi-professional nature in exchange for compensation. So as a connector and as someone who's giving my advice, I'm actually able to bridge certain gaps together and cause it to be a win-win. In 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey often says in the 8 Habits, really it says, it's 7 Habits, he has an 8 Habit book too, but one of the habits is make sure that whenever you're doing something, make sure that you're beginning with an end in mind and make sure that it's a win-win. For what I've been able to create for my circle, it's been a win-win. So as you guys can see, 30% ownership of a multi-billion-dollar business that will generate a couple $1 million as soon as it's launched over about 3 to 5 years is going to be huge. Now, this person has a high level of influence. Obviously, they're about as close to Jay-Z and Beyonce as I said like anyone can get, her and her husband. So that influence is going to play a factor in her company generating revenue. Now, when you look at other things that are happening, I have my own brand. So as my own brand that I have 50% ownership in District Media Press, which is my baby. This is the company space that we're in. I also have 100% ownership in anything that has to do with my brand. So I call it TB Inc., Tiana Burse Inc. So if you break down the levels right here, I think you're kind of already seeing that it exceeds over 100% of any type of income that I'm making in one entity. So when you look at the evolution of diversifying your portfolio, you can just look at making certain partnerships happen. Now, you have to be the right person for it, right? You have to make sure that you are someone who is worthy of being the right partnership. That has to come from within. You have to show yourself to prove. I say it all the time. But if you break this down, you're going to see that any given day, something is making me money. Whether it's this right here, or whether it's this right here, or this right here. And I got to be honest, this store alone is generating, on track to generate, I should say, $1 million per year already. And this one has been around for less than 30 days. So, and that's in sales. Let's not get sales different from what you actually have after you pay for ads and product. But typically, on $1 million, you should see a 40 to 60% income. So $400,000 to $600,000 just on one of these income streams. So I'm sharing all this with you to break down the certain levels of diversity that you can have as you are building your life around what you really want. Again, the reason why I'm sharing this is because most people in life want one thing. They want discretionary time. They want to go on vacation for 3 months and still make money. Make no mistake about it. If you ask anyone on the street that, they'll go, that is the dream, okay? How do you get to that dream? You got to have more than 100% of your income streams coming from other resources and locations. That way you're able to take that vacation while you leave your job, which you're probably paid for that too if you have vacation time, and you're allowing the other multiple streams that you have going on to be able to have you sitting on the sandy beaches on beautiful white sand. So I'm going to break down one more thing and then we're going to wrap this live video up, which is this, and this is super important. You got to think, and I said this earlier, but I'm going to say it again. You got to think in decades. You got to think in a 10-year span. In a 10-year span, which is what wealthy people think in, where will you be at? Either you're going to be in the same place you're in now if you have no plan of action, or you're going to hope that you're somewhere else. And you can hope that you're going to be somewhere else, but if you don't take the action steps required to get you there, then in most cases, you're going to be in the same exact space. And for some people, if you look at where you were at a decade ago, and you look at where you're at now, you might think I'm either worse off than I was or I'm at the same spot. And that sounds pretty depressing if you ask me, because we live as human beings, our basic DNA is to have to be driven by progress. Progress equals happiness. It's not perfection, it's not money, it's feeling fulfilled and knowing that you are moving forward in a forward state. And if you can move forward in a forward state, you just feel naturally good. That's just basic human instinct. So you want to think in a 10-year span, and thinking in a 10-year span is simply saying, in 10 years from now, I'm going to make money moves. Okay, Cardi B, money moves. You're going to make money moves, and those money moves are going to lead you to what I call the promised land. Okay, and the promised land could be, and in most cases, guys, think about this: nothing will go as you plan it. Okay, so you always want to have redundancies in your finances. And you want to have redundancies in what you think the plan will look like, because nothing will always go as planned. But if you are making certain decisions that you've never made before, that is getting you to a better financial place or a better mental place or better career place, then the laws of the universe will state that no matter how you look at it, in 10 years, you'll be better off than you were 10 years before. And that's what the ultimate goal is. See, stop thinking about today and start thinking about legacy. Legacy. That's what... Every day I get up in the morning, why am I doing this? for my niece, for my future kids, for my nephew, for my cousins. Legacy. See, and it's okay to think in that way, because what else is there? You want to survive on this earth and then be taken out and realize that you had not yet lived? No. This is the way that you create that for yourself. And so I hope you enjoyed the information in this video. Probably somewhere near this video there's a link. If you want some more information on diversifying, how to really focus on multiple streams of income, what that looks like brand-wise, marketing-wise, e-com-wise, go ahead and click that link, and I share a lot more about this information. So I'm excited that I'm here doing this today, and I hope that this kind of gave you guys some more insight, or gave you some insight on what you had not known before. And if you already knew this stuff, then it's my hopes and dreams that you start to act upon it, and this just is the fuel to help you do that. And so I appreciate you guys watching. If you know someone who wants to see this video, like, comment, share it. Bye, guys.